Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Welcome everyone to the Hurting Humanity channel. Justin Trudeau has announced his resignation as the Prime Minister of Canada. And before everybody out there applauds, understand that this is a part of the plan. While naturally anybody who's a human being would be thrilled in Canada that Justin Trudeau is stepping down, every single thing that occurs, like dominoes falling, is part of their orchestrated plan. Just like Donald Trump going back into power. People are applauding. They're thrilled because of the insanity they've witnessed over the last 4 years. Well, the same thing in Canada. And the people who are going to betray countries like America, countries like Canada, aren't the ones that you think. It's going to be the one that tells you that you could trust them, that they're on your side, that are looking out on the outside like they're doing sane things and making sane decisions, but they are strategically weaving in this new world order. And everyone knows that Justin Trudeau was not voted in. Like, none of these insane Democrats are never voted in. They're voted in to destroy the nucleus of these countries. And then these conservatives are going to give you something that you think is a resolution, that you think is an answer for all the chaos that has been caused, but really it's part of the plan. And Justin Trudeau, hand-selected by Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, as most of these leaders are, was put in to sabotage Canada. Think of all the things that Justin Trudeau has done over the last couple of years. We all know about the stories with the mandates, the threats made to people who wouldn't go out and poison themselves, the protesters, the truckers who had their bank accounts frozen. How about all of the euthanasia stuff that's been coming out of Canada, where Canada is assisting its civilians in ending their own lives? Canada, the carbon tax that he put into place, all of the gun bans in Canada. They just recently went on another insane gun grab, making it nearly impossible for Canadians to arm themselves. And of course, we know about freedom of speech and how that doesn't exist in Canada anymore, thanks to all of these ridiculous hate speech laws, these Orwellian laws that people like Trudeau and other liberal leaders have put into place. And now, of course, everybody is celebrating because it feels like a victory for the human race, let's just say, right? And now this guy, Pierre Poilievre, is talking about potentially replacing him. He is the conservative leader in Canada that is a lot like Donald Trump. He says all the right things. He sounds the most sane, and it looks like he will be the one to be put into power. But what am I getting at with Trudeau's resignation? I could go through the endless, ridiculous things that he has implemented in Canada. I can go through the endless, ridiculous things that he has said on a live microphone. But what I'm getting at is the North American Union. Because once again, right after this announcement, Trump is teasing merging the U.S. and Canada, making Canada the 51st state. And of course, it starts like this, making Canada the 51st state, merging it with America. But if you understand the North American Union, this is the merging of Mexico, America, and Canada. And it's been a part of the New World Order's playbook for decades. And we're getting closer and closer with all the noise between Canada and the border and America, and Mexico and the border and America, and all of these things with tariffs that they keep talking about. They are going to ease us in to the North American Union using Donald Trump. Right after Trudeau's resignation, this is what Trump tweeted out on Truth Social. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the US, there would be no tariffs. Taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. And that is right out in the open. Every conservative should know about the North American Union because it's been a part of the plan for a long time. They don't realize that they're actually getting psychologically worked into accepting the North American Union because of all of the deliberate chaos and all of the sabotage that these puppets who have been put in charge like Trudeau and Biden have caused. They're not even paying attention to the fact that, wait a minute, in a North American Union, everybody roams free. There is no wall. There are no borders. Haven't you noticed how they've quietly done this by design? They didn't put all these illegals in America to deport them. They might deport them at first. They might talk about new rules and laws about crossing the border and where you can and cannot fly and flight bans and everything else. And that might be how all of this starts. But it ends with the walls being down. And the only real wall will be for Americans, Mexicans, and Canadians to ever exit the North American Union. And even when Donald Trump met with Trudeau a couple of weeks ago, he even said this after having dinner at Mar-a-Lago. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our in-depth talks on tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all. Even that puppet who everybody knows, who loves his red bracelet, Kevin O'Leary, who I've exposed many times before, talked about on television how he would go down to Mar-a-Lago and start the narrative about merging Canada with the United States because we don't want Trudeau negotiating the deal. So he'll go on behalf of Canada. And all of a sudden, just like that, a New World Order initiative, before Donald Trump even takes foot in office once again, before he's inaugurated, we already have this major development in the New World Order playbook, in their 5D chess game of the North American Union, with Donald Trump literally merging Canada and America, and the tariffs play a part of it. And on the flip side, underneath America, with Mexico, all these stories about deporting illegals plays a part of it as well. So they have been busy diluting the population so that they can erase borders and bring in the North American Union and, of course, the North American Amero currency that will be a digital currency. And this is how it's going to start. This is how the New World Order is going to start. Countries are going to start merging together. Countries are going to start unifying and aligning with other countries. There'll be fake rumors of wars and fake rumors of conflict between certain nations, and certain nations will become stronger, like they're trying to make you think that us merging with Canada is for the betterment of America, almost like making Canada look like an embarrassment, right? All the alpha male MAGA cheering it on, not even realizing that this is part of the New World Order and their playbook that they've had, the Declaration of North America. They even talked about this a couple of years ago when they signed the Declaration of North America. Read the document. It's frightening. It dissolves the sovereignty of America, Canada, and Mexico. It's all about diversity, equity, inclusion, climate change. It's a World Economic Forum operation to bring about a one world global government. So in the North American Union, citizens will eventually roam free. And right now that sounds crazy, right? But does it really? Because everybody's screaming for the border in Mexico. All they need to do is create a couple more false flags, a couple more psyops month after month to get people to accept Mexico, Canada, and America as one. Look at people already accepting Canada as a state of America. Now, what if you flipped that narrative and you told all these people who hate Mexico that Mexico was going to become the 51st state? You think they'd be thrilled about that? They'd be like, we don't want that. We don't want the Mexico over here. We don't want to bring people in. So you have two narratives that are going to play out differently, right? When they hear about Canada becoming a 51st state, they're cheering it on. They're saying that's great. That could be great for America. Trump says it could be great for America, so it could be great for America. Well, all they need to do is say that Mexico is going bankrupt, that Mexico is going broke, put some false flags out there about the cartels in Mexico getting arrested, maybe even by United States, agencies that have gone down, something along those lines where suddenly they say, well, Mexico is literally becoming a third world country. Nobody can live there anymore, but it's still attached to America. Maybe the best resolution would be for us to take over Mexico and just merge it with Texas, make it a big old deal, make it, a North American Union. That's what the plan is. So you're going to see this happening with different narratives. The narrative of Canada being that they're the little brother of America, which is something that they've stereotyped for years, where they've tried to make it like Canada does. America's this big, we're the best, we're the biggest, right? Canada's kind of like this joke up north. That's a narrative that they've put out there, right? So Americans naturally would be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll bring them in. They could be a part of America. They could be a state while we're a country. They could be a part of it. Come on, join us, little brother. But Mexico, on the other hand, they're going to have to do it differently. They're going to have to convince people differently. And this seems to be where they're headed with Donald Trump as president. Because if they put somebody else in charge, if Joe Biden was talking about merging Mexico and Canada with America, you could bet your bottom dollar that conservatives would be very angry about it. Conservatives would be like, we don't want that. We didn't ask for that. That sounds like kind of a New World Order playbook. But since Trump is doing it, they're all turning a blind eye. And since it's starting with Canada and it's being played off as if, Canada's a joke, let's just bring them in. It'll make life cheaper for all of us, right? That's all they really need to do is throw those narratives out there about how things will be cheaper and life will be easier, right? Oil will be less, gas will be less, food will be less. Ooh, well, we do need things to be cheaper. All we got to do is slap on that they're the 51st state. Then when you go up to Canada, you have to worry about the border crossing or anything else, right? And then these people just go along with it, not knowing that part of the plan is to get Mexico on board too. And Mexico, of course, is on board. It's just about convincing you to accept it and be on board. And that'll be the next thing over the next couple of years that they work in. It'll start off where right now, you hearing me say Mexico merging with America sounds insane. I get it. You're hearing this, you're going, there's no way, no chance, right? Kind of like when we talked about people willingly going and injecting themselves so that they wouldn't have the common cough anymore. People were saying that no way that was going to happen when it first started getting reported that there was an outbreak. But of course, that eventually happened. It's all it takes is time. Time desensitizes people. So right now, the narrative would sound insane. But watch what they start doing. Watch how they make it difficult for even Americans to travel into Mexico and conflict between America and Mexico, and how suddenly some of the dangers of Mexico, well, Trump could fix that. He could go after the cartels. He could arrest these rings. He could take them down. Then we could take down the border and we can merge as one, and things will be cheaper and better for us, right? And now all of these illegals will have to become citizens of America anyway, so they'll have to be accounted for. They can't just roam America freely without any identification, right? Part of that narrative we've heard out there for a couple of years now, right? All these crimes that have occurred, Mexican doing this, Mexican doing that, going after a girl on a college campus, going after a girl on a jog, going after people in the subways, right? But they have no identification. They have no idea how they got in. They don't know who they are. Well, that'll all change with a digital ID. It'll be a universal digital ID, a North American currency with a North American ID. Watch, mark my words, they're going to move forward with this. They're playing and testing the waters right now to see how conservatives respond to the things that Donald Trump is saying. And the things that he's saying are, hey, we're bringing them in as the 51st state, right? Look what's happened to Canada. Look what Trudeau has deliberately done, which of course is sabotage. That's been the role of the Democrats, sabotaging infrastructure, making their civilians, no matter how they vote, driving them insane with insane ideologies, insane laws being passed, and insane things they're telling you on the television every day. They've brought down infrastructure just by being put in charge of these countries as actors in charge, so to speak, just by being placed in these positions. So when Trump starts talking about this now, watch how people respond. And what are the conservatives saying? They're laughing about it. They're like, yeah, we'll bring Canada in as the 51st. None of them know that this is a part of the New World Order's playbook. They're all looking at it going, great, that crazy Trudeau is out, because Trudeau has been an enemy of conservatives since day one. Just as much as Biden. He drives people insane in America. Most conservatives can't even look at him. The things that he says, the laws that he's passed, the bank accounts being frozen. Everybody thinks of him as a tyrant. right? And that's exactly what he is, but they are all tyrants. They're all tyrants, but they're all actors, right? So they're all looking at this going, this is great. He's going to be out. Now they're going to put that conservative guy in power who says all the right things, and he's going to make some deals with Donald Trump. He's already talking about making some deals with Donald Trump and about the tariffs and about how we can get along and how it's a great deal and a great opportunity for America and Canada to work together with their imports and exports and make things cheaper. And the next thing you know, you wake up and we're told that Canada's the 51st state and no one will even blink. They'll be like, well, we already have a great relationship with them ever since Trudeau left. And then you'll start paying attention to Mexico and you hear all these stories about Mexico's they're bankrupt. Mexico, they don't even have a government there anymore. The government's, falling apart. Who's going to take over? Oh, wait a minute. The same guy who is deporting the illegals is saying, look, we'll save you from the slumps, Mexico. We'll bring you in like a little brother, just like we did to Canada. And that whole notion of a wall, well, all the alpha males will be cheering it on. They'll say, look, not only did Trump build a wall, he tore down his own wall to take over Mexico. And next thing you know, you have this MAGA North American, union, which again has been the plan from the get-go. So Trudeau announces his resignation. You could look back at all the sabotage that he's done. He's done it probably better than anybody else out in the open. I mean, you can't think of many other people other than Joe Biden who have said more insane things, done more insane things, promoted more insane things, and stripped people of more rights, including the fact that this guy got away with not only promoting, but putting the carbon tax into law in Canada. And still, what happened? Nothing. There was no revolution. There was no pushback other than people complaining online. And that's because it's been planned for Trudeau to step down right now, the same day where Donald Trump being the president becomes official in Congress, where they announced that he's officially won the election. Even Kamala Harris reading it off. Suddenly you don't hear any pushback or any protest or any election denying from the Democrats, right? How convenient, because Trump's been a part of the plan all along. And Trudeau's stepping down on the same exact day that Trump gets put in, or at least announced that he's officially the president. They have "it's official" trending. All deliberately done according to the way that they've wanted it to go, without any pushback, without any revolution. Everything's falling into place. And the people actually think that these things are happening because they went out and voted or they went out and protested. And they don't even realize they're building the New World Order right in front of your faces with the conservatives who are a part of the left-right paradigm, keeping you trapped and controlled. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.